Start- und Ergebnislisten stehen Ihnen diese digital in der kostenlosen Giro Aachen App zur Verfügung. Alternativ können Sie auch ganz einfach den an den Tribünenaufgängen zu sehenden QR-Code mit Ihrer Handykamera einscannen. Die Online-Listen verfügen zudem über ein Live-Scoring. Die Listen aktualisieren sich nach jedem Ritt automatisch und sind somit jederzeit top aktuell.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Aachen. Of course, you are seeing on your screens this beautiful, iconic grass arena, huge in size, filled with fences as we kick off the competition this morning with the Youth Equestrian Games. It is such an honour for these young riders to be selected for this competition. It really is the pinnacle of their careers thus far. Riders from all over the world are taking part in this competition. They are competing in continent-based teams. So we have a team for North America, for South America, for Asia, Europe, Africa, and finally Australasia. And that is the order of go for you this morning. Each team has 5 riders. And in this particular format, we have 2 drop scores, so the best 3 scores from each round count towards their team totals. But so many of these young riders who are aged between 15 and 18 have said that this is absolutely the pinnacle of their career so far. This is what they've been aiming for. And many of them also aspire to compete at the Olympic Games one day. And certainly they are on a path to early international success, being selected to represent their countries in this extremely prestigious competition. The first rider that we have in the arena now is one who is sure to kick things off with a bang for us. She is extremely successful in her young rider career so far. This is Mimi Gochman of the USA. She rides Marino van der Achterhoek. And remember, these are horses that the riders have not ridden in competition before. They've been partnered with them as part of a draw. I've been drawn with these horses, but they've had a couple of days to get used to them. They've had the opportunity to do some flat riding and jump a couple of smaller courses. Mimi Gochman, though, she is the reigning young rider champion from the North American Young Rider Championships in Traverse City, winning that competition last year. That was with her horse Selena BH. Quite incredibly, she was also the only rider not to drop a single pole across the 5 rounds of jumping to win that competition. That just shows you what a talented young rider she is. She also topped the Hermes Under-25 semi-final and final at the Winter Equestrian Festival in Wellington in 2021. And she's competed in Grand Prix up to 3-star. This, though, is something of a different question. Marino van der Achterhoek is a horse that she has been partnered with here. This is normally ridden by Marianne Müller of Germany. This horse hasn't had a huge number of clears on his international record, but it's a well-bred horse. It's by Darko, a 10-year-old gelding out of a Thunder van Zuidhoven mare. Mimi Gochman coming now down the final line, stops the clock in 75.91, and as we were saying, she is such a talented rider. This horse, prior to this competition, has only had 1 clear round internationally, and so that just shows you what a talented jockey this is. What a talent for the future. A clear round then to kick things off for Mimi Gochman for Team North America. She, of course, represents the USA, but with her on the team are riders from a number of different countries. We have riders on the North American team from Costa Rica, Guatemala, Honduras, and Mexico still to come. We move on, though, to This competitor who represents Paraguay, he is on the South American team. This is Jose Emmanuel Perez with Jaleska Flores. He's a 17-year-old rider, and he came second individually in the South American Children's Championships in 2019. He's had 8 top 10 international finishes, and this is quite a young horse. It's an 8-year-old mare. Just taking a little look around the course then, he's just jumped the Oxer at fence 3. This Turkish Airlines upright is 4. It's at the kind of top end of the arena. Now they have a double at 5, A, B, and a related distance down to fence 6, this Youth Equestrian Games branded upright. Left-handed now to another Oxer at 7, and then another left-handed curve to another upright at 8 here. Little right-handed curve to another double now at 9, A and B. Before another slight curve again, left-handed to 10. Horse just fighting there, just struggling to keep the control, struggling to get the height over the fence. So sadly the third to last fence drops. Then this final line is an upright at 11 and the Oxer at 12 to finish heading back towards the in-gate. Just the one fence down for Jose Emmanuel Perez of Paraguay on the South American team. Course designer here is Frank Rothenberger. Frank, who of course designs so many top-level competitions, and that really gives you another indication as to just how special this competition is for these riders. Aachen is, of course, a venue that so many riders, senior riders, aspire to ride at, let alone these young riders. Absolutely incredible opportunity for them. On now then to Team Asia. Their first rider is from Uzbekistan. This is Abdurrahman Abdullayev, who rides Oak Grove's Che. Of course, so many of those Oak Grove's horses doing extremely well in international competition so far. This is a 10-year-old stallion. Ooh, he's taken quite an inside line to fence 3. I think perhaps could have done with a little bit of a further run-up. Abdurrahman is 18 years old and he's been jumping in Poland and Italy quite a lot this year. Also jumped on the Sunshine Tour. He's 43rd in the FEI Jumping Under 25 ranking. This horse has had a bit of a break from international competition. Previously ridden by Harm Lada, but not competed internationally since 2020. And a couple down here. But remember, we have 2 drop scores, 5 riders per team, and we have 6 teams coming forward. The best 3 scores count. Coming now to the final line. He's taking quite a steady approach here. The time allowed is 88 seconds. So he is well within that. 81.02 is the time, but 2 fences down for Abdurrahman Abdullayev, and Oak Grove's Che gives Team Asia 8. Just there you can see that there's just a slight sort of miscommunication, and there that was fence 3 where they took a little bit of a tighter line. The time allowed is not tight here, so they can afford to take those slightly wider turns just to ensure a better run-up. Younger competitors also there, enjoying the action here. Perhaps aspiring one day to compete in these Youth Equestrian Games. On we go then to Team Europe. Their first rider is the Belgian young talent Bart J. Junior van der Kasteel, who rides higher. Bart competes up to 2-star competitions, and he also competes in a lot of international competitions, including in the Junior Nations Cup Series this year. If you've been following that Youth Nations Cup Series, you will, I'm sure, have seen his name. He was on the winning team for Belgium at the first leg of that series at Centaur Park. Bart's got a good couple of horses he's riding this year. He's had a couple of wins. They were with his top horse, Mac Jack Courtier. This, though, is higher. A 10-year-old mare by Berlin out of a Quidam de Ravel mare. Has around a 60% clear round rate in international competition. But Bart is such an experienced competitor despite his young age. He is 16. Well inside the time allowed. Beautifully ridden round, so sort of measured and kept the right rhythm throughout that competition, and really sort of nursed this 10-year-old mare around the course for a fantastic clear. So 2 clears now, 1 for North America and 1 for Europe. Just sits so quietly on the horse, really allows the horse to use his body as well, sets up so well for each of these fences. Bart J Jr. Van der Castile, absolutely a rider that you will be looking out for in years to come as well. Our next team in then is Team Africa. Their first competitor is Elias Chawaki, who rides Maestro van Donkerhove. Another horse by Darko. This is the second Darko horse in 5 competitors. Elias is from Tunisia. And interestingly, also competes in endurance competitions internationally. He is 126th in the Young Rider Endurance World Ranking, but he jumps up to 2-star level as well. Just needs to keep a little straighter down some of these lines, but keeping the fences up so far, you can certainly see the Darko stamp on this horse. The horse is usually ridden by Mirai Zhang of Korea. It was back in 2020. Again, he's well up on the clock. Time is not going to be a worry for this pair. He's not our fastest, but of course time doesn't make a difference in this competition. Another very nice clear, this time for the Tunisian rider, Elias Chawaki. And he is on Team Africa. 3 teams have a clear round each, North America, Europe and Africa. And remember, the scores for this team competition will be cumulative across a first round and a second round. This is the first round, of course. We'll be bringing you the second round tomorrow afternoon. There is then an individual competition for these competitors from all over the world. The individual competitions on Saturday. Moving on then to Khaled Ahmed Al Hamadi. Khaled is representing the UAE and he is on Team Australasia. Unfortunate refusal there. The clock is still ticking, so we may now see the time being influential. The horse is Diorados Black Diamond. Does well to get over that now. Good forward riding at the second attempt. Khaled jumped in the Junior Nations Cup competition in Sharjah recently, just had 1 fence down over the 2 rounds, and he's had wins in junior competitions in both Abu Dhabi and in Sharjah this year. This horse has a 34% clear round rate this year so far. He's a bit sticky to some of these. He's taking a good look into the bottom of some of these fences. The horse is an 11-year-old. Oof. Well sat, Khaled. Very well sat indeed. It was a serious peck on landing. Again, really looking into the bottom. There's just got 2 fences left to jump. They are going to be over the time allowed. They have 8 so far, but remember, 2 drop scores per team. Well, despite the 11 penalties, I think Khaled Ahmed Al-Hamadi did extremely well to complete that course. What with the refusal and then with that big peck on landing. Again, shows his skill as a young rider. So we now have had 1 rider representing each of these continent-based teams. North America, Europe and Africa each have a clear round. South America, Asia and Australasia have rounds with faults. South America just with a 4. Next up though, for Guatemala is Carlos Andres Miani Morataya. Carlos, as I say, is from Guatemala and he is part of the North American team. He's a 16-year-old rider and he's jumped in some 1-star competitions in Riesenbeck, another prestigious venue, earlier this month. Had 2 top 10 finishes there and 3 out of 4 rounds jumped clear. A very consistent competitor. That, of course, was with horses that he is familiar with, and this competition is not. The horse he rides here is Aneli. This was ridden by Mario Stevens in 2021 up to 2-star level. And the horse was previously with Muhammad Jabri of Syria. Jumped a lot of clears with Muhammad. Really using his body well to balance the horse. It's such a unique competition, this, because they've, as I say, they've had a couple of days to get used to these horses, but it really demonstrates how quickly they can form a partnership with these horses. Comes to the last. Oh, beautifully done. Very intelligent riding. Really, really strong performance from Carlos Andres Miani Morataya. It's another clear for North America. That's looking like a really strong team. 2 clears already. Remember, the best 3 scores count. So, they have 5 riders, and they've already got 2 clears. They only need 1 of their following 3 riders to jump clear, and they will finish this first round on a clean sheet. On now, though, to Colombia, to Juan Felipe Gonzalez Cova, who rides Diaco Blue, a 12-year-old gelding by Diarado, out of a Chaco Blue mare. Horse that's been ridden in the past by Lawrence Huben, as well as by Bart Bless. Juan Felipe taking a bit of a wider line now to fence 3. No doubt word has gone back that it's important to have enough space on that line. Horse just sort of swings his quarters out around these corners with Juan Felipe, and it just makes the balance a little bit difficult. Getting strong now. Certainly a horse that would be of benefit in a jump-off speed-wise, but you've just got to have that control as well. One down then for Juan Felipe Gonzalez Cova. 4 faults, 2 4-faulting rounds for South America now. One from the Colombian competitor and one from the Paraguayan competitor. On we go then to our next competitor, who represents Jordan on the Asian team. In fact, I think our next competitor, the Jordanian competitor, is going to jump out of order. So this, for Germany, is Charlotte Huing with Andy's boy Bretonnier. She's such an experienced junior competitor. She won a speed class in Hagen earlier this month, which was the third of 3 wins that she's had internationally this year. She's finished in the top 10 7 times out of 16 starts this year alone. So that's a 43% rate of getting into the top 10 in international competitions. Charlotte Huing. Very, very experienced. Andy's boy Bretonnier is a 12-year-old gelding by Tinker's Boy. Previously ridden by Christopher Lindenberg of Denmark. We have a good few horses here who are ridden by Christopher Lindenberg. And as I say, they're partnered with these horses based on a draw. So randomly selected draw to partner these horses and riders together. She's really allowing the horse to keep quite a long frame, but no doubt that's something that she's realised over the last couple of days is a benefit to this horse's way of going. Certainly pays off for them here. It's a good clear for Charlotte Huing of Europe. So it's 2 clears for Europe as well. 1 from Germany and 1 from Belgium. Those 2 are really, really experienced competitors though. So it's 2 clears already for Europe, 2 clears already for North America. Very, very strong. Warm weather in Aachen. The crowd's absolutely enjoying the start of this international competition. Here we go then. Now we have our Jordanian competitor, Lion Al-Momani, with Cloud 47. She is part of Team Asia. She's a 17-year-old rider and competes in the junior competitions internationally and also competed up to 2-star level last year. This is her first international start in 2022, but she really finishes in the top 10 very frequently. Cloud 47 is a 10-year-old gelding by Clarimo. Layan is a 17-year-old competitor. Team Asia have that 8 vaulting round so far. Just gets quite deep into some of these fences. Better shot there. The height of these fences is 1.20 meters. gets a deeper shot, but it's something that's paying off for them. She's taking a careful approach, not leaving anything to chance. Lovely down the final line, 75.69, well within the time allowed as well. So for Layan Al-Momani of Team Asia, it's a lovely clear round. Team Asia still within touching distance of finishing on a clean sheet, but of course we've only had 2 riders per team compete so far. Team Africa up next. This is Amy Hay. She represents Zimbabwe for Team Africa, and the horse that she rides here is FEI Jeremy. Amy, also no stranger to international competition in the junior categories. She jumped in the Junior Nations Cup in Oran in Algeria. Very steady into that first fence. She was on the 3rd place team at that competition. She's had 2 international wins, one in Oran in Algeria and one in Herford in Germany. They were back in 2019. FEI Jeremy was ridden by Nicholas Aroma of Finland up to 2-star and up to fences of 1.40 meter in height. So these 120 fences shouldn't be a problem in theory for this horse. Africa have 1 clear already, so Amy's trying to keep them on a par with North America and Europe. She's certainly riding a lot with her body, really looking to balance the horse. Sort of lets him make a nice shape over the fences. Potentially could do with having a little bit of a shorter hold on the reins, but again, you know, they've only had a couple of days to get used to riding these horses, and she's doing extremely well here. And looks absolutely thrilled with the result. And, well, she should. It's a great clear. 2 clears then for Team Africa. Yeah, it was just quite sticky at the start, but they really did sort of settle into the round more. That's really what you like to see. It's a long way around this course because, of course, this is such a big arena. The length of the course is 510 metres. 12 obstacles containing 14 jumping efforts. Back then to Team Australasia. Their 2nd rider is from Saudi Arabia. This is Abdulaziz Fahad Aled. He's a really, really successful junior rider. He has only finished outside the top 10 once in his last 19 international competitions. What a record. Jumped in the Junior Nations Cup in Sharjah in February with a good clear round. The horse he rides here is Golden Joy, who's competed up to 3-star level with a few different riders. He's jumped 1 international clear round so far this year, but done very well through that double combination. Just really didn't quite have the impulsion up. Again, deep shot there. They just need to get a little more forward pace. Much more smoothly through that double. 2 doubles in this course. Yeah, they're really settling into the course more. But you've got to take into account as well, it's such an iconic venue for these young riders. Oh, and he just clips the last. Oh, what a shame. Abdulaziz Alid just drops the final pole for Team Australasia. It's 4. here you can just see where the horse really helped him out, actually. Golden Joy, this 11-year-old. What a shame, they did so well around that course. Just that final fence. But yeah, it's such an iconic venue, not only for these young riders actually, but for senior riders, for many riders who have competed in World Championships, Olympic Games. So many riders hold up Aachen as being the absolute pinnacle of the sport. Really a venue that they all aspire to compete in. So what an opportunity for these young riders. So you can't really underestimate the pressure and the feeling of anticipation, the excitement that, and potentially a bit of tension that they feel riding in this arena. Getting us off to a pretty quick start though here is Gabriela Maradiaga Reina. She is 16 years old and she's from Honduras, representing North America. The horse here is DSP Goldquell. Horse ridden by Maren Hoffman, including on the Young Rider Nations Cup team this year. In Fontainebleau, they jumped a double clear. Got about 50% clear round rate with Maren up to 2-star level. It's a quick little horse. Gabriela's competed in a few really top-level competitions. The Children's International Classics final at Tashkent in 2019. Hasn't had too many international starts recently. Her most recent was in 2020, but this is going very, very well indeed. This would be absolutely incredible for North America. Yes, she's done it. It's a clear. Well, look at that. Gabriela Maradiaga, DSP Goldquell. It's clear. So North America have their 3 clears. Wow. What a start for them. So we do have 2 more riders to come for the North American team, but they've already got 3 clears. They're going to finish this first round of competition on a clean sheet. On now then we go to Juan Jose Tamayo. He rides on the South American team for Ecuador. He's one of the younger riders in the field. He's 15 years old and he's jumped in children's and junior international competitions internationally in Quito in Ecuador with 4 top 10 finishes. This horse is ATC's Indira, who is just 7 years old, a 7-year-old mare by I'm Special Demuse, who is by Emerald, out of a Verdi mare, so really well-bred horse. Wow, what a shame. South America then are going to finish behind North America because they have 2 4-faulting rounds. Let's just confirm Juan Jose Tamayo's. Ooh, heavy fault at the last as well. Just struggling to get the horse back at the end of the round there, but it's 2 down. A total of 8 to add for South America. So they already have 2 4-faulting rounds, bearing in mind they've got 2 scores to drop and 5 riders in total to come. The lowest possible score for South America now is 4. Because if their 4th and 5th riders jump clear, they still have to count a 4. Back to Team Asia then. Our next competitor for Asia is the Qatari rider Syed Ahmed Al Saad, who rides DSP Sessi, 10-year-old mare. He jumps in national competitions in Qatar. This is his first international start. He is 18 years old. This is another Maren Hoffman ride. And as I say, they are on Team Asia. Team Asia have 1 clear and 1 8-faulting round so far. Takes a good wide line here to fence 3. Horse has got plenty of scope. Gets deeper into the double, but that's certainly something that is of benefit to this pair. It's very careful riding this. Just takes a bit of a pull there. This is really lovely to watch though, actually, you know, it's pretty fluid. They're keeping good straight lines between the fences where necessary. Comes now to the last. Oh, really, really nicely done. Syed Ahmed Al Syed jumps a clear for Team Asia. So Asia have that 8-faulting round early on. They have 2 clears now as well, so just need 1 more clear to be able to finish on a clean sheet along with North America. We go now, though, back to Team Europe, to Annie Meo-Vitadis. She rides Despacita. She is a Greek competitor. She's 18 years old and she jumped in the Balkan Championships at both junior and children's level. This, again, is her first international start this year, but she did compete in Athens in 2021. Despacita, ridden by Marianne Müller of Germany, to 3 starts internationally in 2022. They were all in 1-star competitions, and she's jumped 2 clears this year, this 8-year-old mare. Good few younger horses in this competition as well, interestingly. Remember, Europe have 2 clears already, so Annie Meo-Vatidis would be keeping Team Europe on a clean sheet if she can jump clear. Gets very deep there. Just needs to keep allowing the mare forward despite that. Oh yeah, that a little too forward there. Just clips the front rail with the back legs. Good down the final line, and the time's good as well, but it's just the 1 fence down for Annie Meo-Vatidis of Greece for Team Europe. It is a 4-faulting round. But it's not all over for Team Europe yet. They still have 2 riders to come, so they still could finish on a clean sheet, and they are certainly a team that you might put your money on to do well here. Again, just seeing that it's beautiful weather in Aachen. sun is shining, and of course the action doesn't stop with these Youth Equestrian Games. There is, of course, top show jumping and dressage action still to come, all of which will be live on Clip My Horse throughout the weekend. Real top lineup in the senior competitions as well, certainly ones that you won't want to miss. On now to Egypt. Egypt are, of course, on Team Africa. This is Haya Osama El Borai. She jumps up to 3-star level and also jumps in the young rider classes. She's jumped 5 clears this year. They were all at Sharjah. That's her only international show so far this year. And this is another 8-year-old mare. The horse is Jad Zia. It is by Van Schindels Raskin. And it's typically ridden by Piet Remakers Jr. 3 top 10 finishes this year and about a 50% clear round rate. So many of these horses have had a good few international starts and a good few international clears on their records so far. Really, if these young riders can pilot them carefully around this course, they should be in with a good chance of finishing well. One fence left for Haya Osama El Borai to give Africa a 3rd clear. Brilliantly done, 6:76.03. It's fast as well. Picks up nothing, and so Africa also have 3 clears alongside North America. They will certainly finish this round on a clean sheet. 3 scores count. On now to Syria. Syria are part of the Australasian team. And their next rider is Aya Hamcho. She rides Campari 329. She has jumped up to 4-star level. Those competitions were in Abu Dhabi, and she's got 5 clear rounds at 4-star level, so she's pretty experienced up to some very competitive rounds. Campari 329 is ridden by Christopher Lindenberg and has jumped 4 clear rounds out of 7 rounds this year. And those were all up to 1.40 m. So again, over these 120 fences, careful riding should stand Aya Hamcho in good stead. Australasia have an 11 and a 4, so if they are to be within shout of a clean sheet and to get it within sight of North America and Africa, they need a clear here. Just sort of steadies, then pushes for fence 10, and actually with that quite long run down to that fence, we're seeing a good few riders doing that. Time's good. Really nicely done. Absolutely beaming smile from the Syrian rider Aya Hamcho. It's nothing to add for her, a clear round for Australasia. Aya Hamcho, in fact, said that she always dreamed of riding at the Youth Olympic Games. This, of course, is the competition which replaces the rescheduled Youth Olympic Games. This is the equivalent this year. Of course, they all have their dreams of competing at the top level in the senior competitions, but more immediately, this is the absolute pinnacle of the sport for these riders. So we go now back to North America. And to Shannon Gruber. She rides for Costa Rica. And she competed in the children's category at the FEI Jumping South American Championships for young riders, juniors and children. As I say, in 2018, that was at Las Condes in Chile. She's also jumped in Europe, in Germany, in junior team competitions. The horse she's partnered with here is Volk Dermenig, who is by My Lord Carthago. It's a 13-year-old gelding, often ridden by Caroline Dirt of France. But this horse is also pretty consistent. He's jumped 10 out of 12 clear rounds internationally this year and has finished in the top 10 in 7 out of 9 competitions in 2022. Good horse to be partnered with. Shannon also has explained that this is one of her biggest dreams, to compete at the Youth Equestrian Games, but her sort of a career dream is to ride at the Olympics, something that Costa Rica has never done. She'd like to be the first Costa Rican athlete to do so. Ooh, really hits the final fence, but it jumps out of the cups and stays in. It's a 4th clear for the North American team. This team is so very, very strong. What a lineup of riders. Absolutely outstanding. They don't need drop scores. They already have 4 clears now. Absolutely fantastic performances. We go on now to Martina Rossi. She rides for Uruguay on the South American team. She rides Oak Grove's Olympia Z. A couple of Oak Grove's horses, in fact 3, on the lineup here. This one is ridden by Jennifer Pedersen of Denmark, up to 3-star level this year. It is by Organa Sitte, and this is a 7-year-old mare, another fairly young horse. This is Martina's 3rd international start. Her previous ones were in her home country of Uruguay, in Montevideo. Very famous country for horsemanship, for polo, for horse enthusiasts. South America have 2 4-faulting rounds and an 8-faulting round, so they could do with some clears here to keep them in line with those teams on a clean sheet. They're not going to be able to be on a clean sheet, but they could potentially finish on 4. That's what Martina is trying to achieve for them here. Ooh, sees a long one. Footing in this arena is just outstanding. Ooh, again sees a bit of a long one to the last. So it's a fence down for Martina Rossi, the Uruguayan competitor on Team South America. That means that even with a clear from their final rider, South America will finish on at least 8 now. Really changes the dynamic between the teams. North America, remember, very, very strong. 4 clears, absolutely outstanding from them. But just look at this setting. It really is a truly iconic venue. It's one that all of the international competitors aspire to compete at the senior competitions, perhaps in the Rolex Grand Slam here in the future. What an opportunity for these young riders to compete on this fantastic turf arena. Absolutely outstanding. Well, we have 4 teams to bring forward their 4th riders. And then we have the 5th riders from each of the teams. Countries still to come are France, Morocco, New Zealand, Mexico, Argentina, Iran. What an international lineup in these Youth Equestrian Games. Here then we go back to Team Asia. This is Fares Azuni, who represents Palestine. He's a 15-year-old rider and jumps in junior and 2-star competitions. He has had 10 top 10 finishes this year alone in international competitions. He rides Oak Grove's Darshana, another quite young horse. It's a 7-year-old mare by Darshan, again ridden by Jennifer Pedersen, much like Oak Grove's Olympia Z, the horse that we saw earlier with Martina Rossi. This horse has never dropped a pole in international competition so far. He's only jumped 5 rounds internationally, but never dropped a pole. This, on paper, is a pretty exciting combination. Yeah, it does well to just steady the momentum and get things lined up for this final line. 88 seconds the time allowed. We don't have, well, we've only had 1 competitor with time so far. Yeah, still going to be the case. It's a very, very good clear for the Palestinian competitor Fares Azuni. For Team Asia, it's 3 clears now for Team Asia, alongside the 8 faulting round, and so they will finish this round on a clean sheet too. They just need 3 scores to count. So North America, Africa and Asia all going to finish on a clean sheet. Europe are next in. They have a chance to finish on a clean sheet as well. And this competitor, again, is no stranger to very top-level competitions. This is Jehan Hiral of France. I'm sure a name that you will be familiar with if you are. Have you been watching some of the young rider competitions, and if you've been watching some of the 2-star classes? She won a junior class in Fontainebleau earlier this year and also came 4th in an under-25 Grand Prix there. The horse that Jehan is paired with this morning is Galliano LW. This is an 8-year-old gelding, ridden normally by Suzanne Brandenburg and Lawrence Huben. This horse has only ever dropped more than 1 pole in international competition once, and has jumped just over half clear rounds internationally in his career, 7 out of 13 rounds clear. Europe have 2 clears and a 4, so a clear here would keep them on a clean sheet. Ooh, but she's had a fence. Jehan Hiral, she's an experienced competitor, but she's had a fence down. It's such a different dynamic when they're partnered with these new horses. Only a couple of days to get used to them. Beautifully down the final line, it's 4 for Jehan Hiral. Europe sitting on 4 at the moment. They've had 2 clears and 2 4 faulting rounds. They need a clear from their final rider. That final rider is going to be Claudia Moore of Great Britain. Going to be quite a lot of pressure on her shoulders. Let's go back though to Team Africa. This is Jad Gerawi. He's a Moroccan competitor. He's just 15 years old. This is his first international appearance. Just takes a good look around this arena. Just making sure of the lines he's going to take. The horse he's partnered with here is Lady Angeles. This is an 8-year-old mare who's been ridden by Alexander Howson of Belgium, by Chloe Winchester of Great Britain, by Alexa Larkin and by Adam Morgan of Ireland this year alone. So it's a horse that's used to being competed by a selection of different riders and has had 17 top 10 placings this year alone, including 6 wins. Jad Gerawi for Morocco. Team Africa then. Morocco, remember, already have their 3 clears. So he is simply looking for a good result to add to that. He knows that his team will finish on a clean sheet from this first round. Takes the pressure off a little bit. But we've seen faults in the double combinations, that the last fence, fence 3 causing some problems as well. Frank Rothenberger setting a good set of questions around this track and making use of this sweeping arena. Well, beautifully to the last, Team Africa, again seeming very, very strong indeed. 4 clear rounds. It's the same record as North America. Well, we just have 7 competitors left to come forward. 1 more of our 4th riders, then we have the final riders for each of the teams. Next up, for Team Australasia, is Dylan Bibby. Dylan rides Chasseur ASKZ. He's a 17-year-old rider. Dylan was interviewed about his progress with this horse over the course of the week and explained he did some flat work on the first day with a couple of small fences, and then yesterday jumped a 1 metre to 110 course. These of course are 120. Also praised this horse's forward way of going. The horse, as I say, is Chasseur ASKZ. The horse has competed up to 1 metre 50 internationally with some really good results, partnered with Swiss rider Simone Buchhofer. Another ride of Christopher Lindenberg, jumping with him up to 145 het level in Germany. But this horse is by Casal. It's an 11-year-old stallion. Dylan from New Zealand, just about as far away as you can get, of course, from Aachen. Lovely measured steady approach down the final line. Dylan Bibby gives Australasia a clear round. They have 2 clears now and 1 rider still to come. So Australasia could still finish on a clean sheet. They'd have to drop their first 2 riders' scores. Only Europe and South America cannot finish on a clean sheet. North America, Africa and Asia will. They already have 3 clears, all 3 of those teams. So we are going back then to the final riders for each team. Last rider then for Team North America is Xaviera Morabuc. She represents Mexico. She's just 15 years old. She rode on the junior team for Mexico at the North American Youth Championships in Traverse City, getting individual bronze and team silver. The horse she rode there is Conrue. That's her normal mount. She competes up to 3-star and in junior competitions around Mexico and Canada. She was jumping in some 3-stars at Calgary, at Spruce Meadows earlier this month. So very, very experienced competitor. Individual bronze in the North American Junior Championships last year. The horse she's paired with here is Lawita 3, a 9-year-old mare who jumps up to 1-star, and in some young horse classes in Bourneval and in Lier. Generally ridden internationally by Axel Vernes-Capelle. North America, remember, already have 4 clears. She just has 2 fences left to jump. Oh, beautifully done. Now look at that. I mean, you cannot get a better performance as a team than this North American set of riders. 5 clear rounds. Absolutely outstanding. Nothing to add at all for the team. They are entitled to have 2 drop scores, but they don't need them. North America have nothing to add for any of their riders. Just outstanding. So strong. So our next rider is not, as your graphic said, Xaviera Morabuc. That was, of course, our previous rider. This is Juan Bautista Jaled, who is on Team South America, riding for Argentina. He's competed at the South American Championships as in the children's and in the junior category. He's only finished outside the top 10 once in his international career so far. Juan Bautista Jaled, certainly a name that you will be looking out for in years to come. He's just 17 years old. The horse he's partnered with is Bardu, who is a 7-year-old gelding by Baluz Bellini. Baluz Bellini is by Balu du Rouet. Juan has said what an honour it is to represent his country. Oh, he's had a fence. South America not going to finish on a clean sheet, and in fact they're going to finish now on 12 at least. Strong shot to the last, and 76.66 is a very good time. Let's just get the horse back now. So it is 4 for Juan Bautista Jaled, and as you just quickly saw there, they'll drop the score of 8. They'll drop one of the scores of 4. They will count 12 from this first round. That's the score they bring forward to the second round of competition. It is a cumulative score for this team final. The deciding round takes place tomorrow. All teams, of course, coming forward as we only have 6 teams. Team Asia now about to round things off with Mirilia Manavikarad, who is an Iranian competitor competing up to 2-star level, primarily riding in Tehran. The horse here is Cornelia Marie. This is a change from the original draw. Cornelia Marie is an 11-year-old mare by Chaco Blue. Asia already have 3 clears, so of course Mirilia is keen to compete in this prestigious competition, and in fact has said that it's the best thing about this opportunity is to compete alongside riders from other countries and to really test himself in this international environment. Has a bit of an approach of taking things steady between the fences. The horse is quite forward into the fences, so there's a bit of a pace change around this course. Oof. A bit of miscommunication striding wise. Last fence to go. Let's hang on, Mirilia. Well, I think that was very well managed through the last round. The horse saw a long one. Mirilia thought that they were going to put in an extra one, but crucially, it's still a clear. So Team Asia have 4 clears and 1 8 faulting round. They'll drop the 8. They'll discount one of the clears because they just count 3 rounds. They finish on a clean sheet as well, so they join North America at the top of the leaderboard. Nothing to add for Team Asia in this first round of competition. Well, now we have the final rider for Great Britain. This is Claudia Moore. She's the final rider for Team Europe. She's 17 years old. She hardly ever drops more than 1 pole in international competition. She almost always either jumps clear or has just 1 down. She's experienced in the junior classes and up to 3-star level. Had a good 4th in Zuidwald earlier this month with a double clear. The horse she's paired with is Largo van de Molenhoek, an 11-year-old by Elvis Terpute, who is normally ridden by Dominika Garlova of Slovakia, up to 4-star level. The horse has jumped 7 clears internationally this year. Europe have 2 clears and 2 4-faulting rounds, so Claudia has to jump clear in order to keep them on a clean sheet alongside North America, Asia and Africa. We'll rattle. Well, the pressure was on the British rider, Claudia Moore, but she looks quite relieved to have got round that course, but crucially, it's a clear. Europe then drop the 2 4-faulting rounds. They count 3 clears. They also finish on a clean sheet in this first round of competition. They are the 3rd team to do so. It's really quite outstanding. We just have 2 riders left to come then. One for Africa. This is Thomas van Riekevorsel. Thomas here rides Lucy 781, a horse usually with Maren Hoffman, another Maren Hoffman ride. Jumped in Eindhoven internationally earlier this year with Maren, and jumped 1 clear out of 4 rounds internationally this year. Thomas is 17 years old and jumped in Oran in Algeria internationally this year. Says it is a privilege and an honour to compete in the Youth Equestrian Games as a representative and as an ambassador for South Africa. Africa, remember, already have 4 clears, so whatever Thomas does here, they're going to finish on a clean sheet in this first round. The horse is a 9-year-old mare by Lux Z. Sits back and engages well. Just what you would want around a course like this. Beautiful clear. Africa matched that outstanding performance in North America. 5 clear rounds. Wow. Once again, wow. They count 3 clear rounds. They discount 2 clear rounds, in effect. So it's a clean sheet. We now have 4 teams that have completed, all carrying forward absolutely nothing from this first round. They are North America, Asia, Europe and Africa. We just have 1 competitor left then. Of course, we'll be bringing you all of these riders again tomorrow in the second round of competition. But riding for Australia is Malia Lang McMahon, a rider for whom Olympic show jumping runs in the family. Her father, Peter, represented Australia at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, and her mother, Michelle, also competed for Australia at the World Championships in 1994 and 2002. She has had a lot of success in Australia, and she's really regarded as one of the most promising young riders in the country. She's been Australian Children's Champion, been on Junior Champion at the Brisbane Royal Show, also won the Tamworth Young Rider Championships in Australia. Absolutely glittering record for this rider. The horse that she rides here is Calypso du Bouguet, 10-year-old Celle Francais gelding, who has been jumped by Caroline Dot of France in Portugal and Spain. It's got a 50% clear round rate. Horse picked up a couple of time penalties very recently. Oh, we're fenced down. Malaya Long, 4 teams. In terms of points, they'll be in second place. Things can change in these competitions so very, very quickly. 80.83 is the time, well within the time allowed. But for Malaya Lang McMahon, it is 4. And so with that in mind, Team Australasia will drop the score of 11. They'll drop one of the scores of 4. They'll count 2 clears and a 4 faulting round and finish this first round of competition on 4 penalties. So the way that the leaderboard looks at the moment after the first round of competition here in these Youth Equestrian Games, it is joint first place for North America, for Asia, for Europe and for Africa. Quite incredibly, North America and Africa each posted 5 clear rounds, but of course the teams only need to count 3 top scores, so that means that Europe and Asia also come forward on a clean sheet. Just behind them, one fence separates them. Australasia are on 4. A couple of fences then now down to South America. They finished this first round of competition on 12. Well, as I say, we will bring you the second round of this team competition tomorrow. That kicks off at 4:15 local time. That is 3:15, of course, if you are watching in the UK. Tomorrow we'll also see the Nations Cup competition at 7:30 local time. But do join us again for the second round of this Youth Equestrian Games, taking place tomorrow. Enjoy your afternoon, everybody, and I look forward to taking you through that competition, the second round, tomorrow afternoon.
Yes.